And they're off. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to beautiful Belmont Park. Right now we have cloudy skies. We did have rain overnight and this morning. As a result, we are off the turf today, and the main track is sloppy and sealed. Sloppy and sealed. And we'll take a look at today's changes right now. In the first race, there'll be no show, trifecta, or superfecta wagering. Scratch number 1, Proton Pack. Scratch the 1 out of race 1. No changes in the second. Third race, scratch the 3, 16 tons. Scratch number 3 out of the third. Race 4 will begin the pick 6. An equipment change for number 1, Up for Adventure. He'll run with blinkers on. Blinkers on, number 1. And number 7, Lorenzen, will run with cheek pieces again. In race 5, we have a couple of jockey changes. Number 5, Brush Country, will now be ridden by Kendrick Carmouche. Carmouche is on the 5. And number 6, Professor Snape, will be ridden by Louis Cardenas. Luis Cardenas on the 6, Professor Snape. Sixth race, Off the Turf, goes on the main track at the same distance. Jockey change on the 2, Spongy, to Joel Rosario. Rosario rides the 2. Scratch 4, Master of the Tunes. 5, Just Okay is Not Okay. 6, Akushla. 7, Epona's Dream. Also scratch 8, Dixie Kitten. 9, Galena. 10, Constitutional Rage. 12, Voice of Spring. 14, Lucky Girl. Again, recapping the scratches in the 6th. Scratch numbers 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12, and 14. An additional rider change is on the 15, Moonsweeper. She'll be ridden by Javier Castellano. Castellano rides the 15, Moonsweeper. No changes in race 7. An overweight in race 8, number 1, Suspended Campaign, will be 1 pound over. And today's 9th race is Off the Turf. Goes on the main track at the same distance. Scratch 1, Positive Power. 2, Tornado Crossing. 3, She's an Alpha. Scratch 5, Traffic Lane. 9, Freddie Mo Factor. And 10, Ho 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 Ho. Scratch 1, 2, 3, 5, 9, and 10. A rider change on the 6, Love Me Tomorrow, to Luis Cardenas. Cardenas rides the 6. Love Me Tomorrow. Main track, sloppy and sealed. We are off the turf. We'll come back at 12:30 to reprise the changes. Today's first race post is at 1 p.m. Up next, it's the Sunday edition of Talking Horses with Serling and Stabile.
For almost 150 years, the Saratoga name has been synonymous with the finest quality, sustainably sourced spring water available anywhere. Saratoga carries on the rich tradition of its forefathers by crafting each stunning blue glass bottle with the same attention to detail and care that has been its hallmark for generations. Visit SaratogaSpringwater.com today or ask for us by name at your local market or restaurant. Saratoga Spring Water. Make every day exquisite.
Morning or good morning, everyone. Welcome to Talking Horses on a windy and freezing cold day here in Belmont Park. How are you, Anthony?
I'm good.
Glad to hear it.
Ready to roll.
All right, let's roll. You had ever NYRA Bets. If you're not a member of NYRA Bets, no better time than the present. We will give you a $200 sign-up bonus. In other words, we'll match the $200 initial deposit, plus a free $25 Kentucky Derby Day bet. Use the promo code Derby25. America's Day at the Races, 1 to 5:30 on FS2 today. Covering races from here as well as Oaklawn Park. We turn our attention to race number 1.
Don't forget that we are sponsored by Saratoga Water.
Oh, we are. Our good friends. Thank you. Saratoga Water. Thank you, Anthony. Got the bottles up.
Beautiful bottle placement about 30 seconds before the program began.
You were like speed.
At least now
like,
we have an indicator.
You're like the Flash getting those things up.
At least now
there.
we have an indicator. The commercial comes on, we take the bottles.
It's not working. Race number 1, you lost a horse, Irad Ortiz and Wesley Ward, that would have been odds on. So now we've got a horse that's currently 1 to 9 in Saucy Lady T. Let's head to Keeneland and take a look at this horse's race. I meant to actually put the start and everything, but I forgot to write an entire race. This horse, he broke slow and kind of got sort of trouble with the horse outside of him. He was 1 slow. He was dragged out of the race. Did a little bit of running in there. Second place finisher was John Ward. The winner of the race was a John Ennis horse. Won easily. I think the second place horse, the Ward horse that stunk the joint up here on Friday at 1 to 5.
Could be.
I think so. But nonetheless, I picked this one. I won't be betting at 1 to 9. But with Wesley Ward out, obviously this one's going to be a favorite.
Yes, will be the favorite. I went to the other one of the other runners in here, the 3 Midsummer Nights.
You went to the one trainer you'd never heard of.
Alberta Davies.
No disrespect, man. Just
great Clapton song, Alberta. I don't know who Alberta Davies is.
No, it was a Clapton angle. It was the Eric Clapton
angle. It was the
angle.
Clapton angle. Yeah, that's correct.
It's his birthday the other day.
It was. I saw that on Twitter. I did not. I saw the. I'm sorry?
What kind of friend are you?
No, I'm a Mick Fleetwood guy. Mick Fleetwood once played drums while I sang That's Life at the late Richie
He still
Frankel's
tells
wedding.
his friends about it.
He does. He tells the story all the time.
Did you make any scores that day? Anyhow,
no,
let's talk about
wedding.
this race so we can get out of here.
Yeah, Midsummer Night had a race at Keeneland. Gets Eric Cancel from a 10-pound bug. Look, when this horse comes out, I wanted to have somebody other than the horse that's going to be 2 to 5, and I figured that if one or the two came out, the other
Sitting
would be
here
a
and
short
handicapping
price.
this race
That's it.
is a little foolish.
Yeah.
Race number 2. Race number 2. Let's take a look at First Line running 2 races back, losing by a neck to Grump's Little Tot. I feel very confident that if First Line runs this race, he will win this race. He's actually been in good form lately. I don't trust him, but I have him on top.
Yeah, I think those blinkers off and his races have gotten a lot better. I don't know if he's just in form, if the blinkers help. He goes back from the 2 turns to the 1 turn now. We'll see. He's a logical contender in here. This was another one. I thought this was 2s and 5s. I thought one of these two kind of had to win this race. Maybe a little Tri St. Lorenzo, but hard to make Not That Brady. Hard to like Icy Dude off the claim, I think.
What do you like about the storms? There's a Storm brewing.
Well, There's a Storm brewing was in against much, much better last time out. Made the lead, tired. Now was going to come back, and this horse is supposed to be in front today and just have a much easier time of it on the front end and be able to go a little slower than last time.
Yeah, I don't like his race 2 back. That's my problem with him, though obviously he can win. And I do think he was towards the inside last time. In a day you were probably a little bit better off towards the couple pass off the rail. He was about a path off the rail. I can't take Tri St. Lorenzo anymore. I suppose he's not impossible. What about Shanghai School? We'll go to Penn National in his last race and show a win. The problem with him, he's got no form outside of Penn National to back up his recent races, and we see more often than not Penn National form not getting reproduced here. But you have to admit, this horse can win this race.
Yeah, and he could sit the right kind of trip right off the speed of There Is a Storm Brewing.
Well, not that Brady. I don't know if he has any speed anymore. His last two races
it's
were
hard
so
to really
atrocious.
even include Not That Brady in the equation anymore, right?
He's not
His
as fast
speed's
as There's a Storm
gone.
of Bruin. How close he is depends, I guess, on the rider, and I assume this rider is still here. Did he come in to ride him?
I didn't see a rider change.
Julio Hernandez?
Yep.
Well, we'll see. I didn't think he was impossible. He is in good form, but in this race, there were no other place I could go. I've given up on Tri-State Lorenzo.
Right, he's to me, he's clearly
not
the third
impossible.
horse. He's not impossible, but he's clearly the third horse for
And he
me.
also may be a horse that's better on a dry track. In his case, I think there is some evidence that he doesn't run his better races on
I
wet
don't
track.
disagree with that, my
Track is
friend.
still listed as sealed, by the way, and sloppy. The rain stopped about an hour ago. But the wind and the cold have persisted. Race number 3. So before we show the replay, please hold off. Other than your contract
Fourth pick's the 5, guys.
your
I sent
contract
these in.
to pick. Yeah, I mean, you guys set him in. I lost a lunch. 72, by the way. We're at 72.
Mm-hmm.
Other than you feeling a contract to pick all the Klarovich horses, why would you pick Risk Profile over a horse that finished a length ahead of him, a length and a half ahead, or a length and a quarter ahead of him when they met the one time?
Oh, I mean, the length ahead when they met the one time.
Yeah, I'm just asking.
I thought,
I'm not,
you see, I had a pretty clear thought in
okay,
here.
I want to hear it.
I kind of feel like the other 2 horses that are dropping in here, Uncle Moonlight, who
Well, he can
middle
win.
of the 3-year-old, yeah, he could win, but middle of the 3-year-old year, I kind of feel like he's one that is dropping. Maybe not so just for some class relief. I kind of felt the same about Determined Fury, where it's Risk Profile has the race, number 1, and number
I'm
2.
confused. I'm not getting any of this.
Okay, so Risk Profile has the race. I
What
know
race?
has a race off the layoff where the other 2 don't. So I think there's a little bit more of a question as to why they're dropping.
But he ran terribly last time.
But that's fine. This is where he belongs. I think he has now proven he belongs here because this is just where he belongs. Whereas the other 2 horses are dropping, and there's always the question as to why they're dropping and why they haven't been around for a while.
So that's why you like
That's
him
why
over a horse that finished
I
ahead of
just
him.
think that's why Risk Profile. Yeah, they tried the blinkers last time. The blinkers come off. They're obviously trying to find their way. We're trying to find their way with him. They realize that his way is in for 40,000.
But all the others are probably finding their way in for
correct,
40,000 too.
but
So it's the
I
same
know
logic, right?
now why he's there. I don't know about the other 2, and the other 2 have to deal with layoffs.
But I would argue that logic you should throw him out.
You could
Because
argue
you're
that
saying
logic.
he's in here because he ran like a bum last time.
Right.
I mean, to be fair.
He's in here because he belongs
So
in
you
for
like
40.
him because he ran badly last time.
I picked him because I know why he's in here.
So because he ran bad. Okay, I got it. Okay, I'll show the race they ran together. And the reason that I liked him based on that race is that he ran a better race. That was the day the rail was very good. And one of the reasons I didn't like Determined Fury last time out was that he rode the rail until the stretch when he angled out, whereas Risk Profile was 3-4 wide the whole way around the track, and he was against the track in that race, so 2-3 wide, I should say. So he was against the track, whereas Determined Fury had a much better trip. So I actually thought Risk Profile ran a better race of the 2, and I thought he'd be a bigger price. So when they met again, I don't care the drop down. Every single one of these horses belongs in a maiden 40. I wouldn't argue completely against you saying that, well, maybe it's a negative with Determined Fury. My problem with that is I thought he was a maiden 40 after his first race, so I'm not sure he doesn't belong in here. But his drop down after his mediocre race and then layoff. I mean, the others, obviously Moonshine Bright belongs in a claiming race. He's shown that in his career. As far as Uncle Moonlight, he's a horse that's middle of his 4-year-old year. You can't keep him on the racetrack. What are you going to do with him? I think he can win this race. I think what works against Risk Profile versus all 3 of the others is they have more speed than he does. All 3 of the 1, 5, and 6 could be more forwardly placed than he is, and that is a bit of a concern with him.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that.
So I'm not confident, but I thought that he's probably the right horse in here. We'll see how the prices end up. I don't really know where else to go.
Yeah, not really anywhere else to go.
No, there doesn't seem like anything. Race number 4, excuse me, and we'll break after 5. I don't know what to say about this race, Anthony. You go through it, and how are you supposed to pick against Up for Adventure? Is Joel riding this horse?
Yeah.
Glad to see Joel Rosario coming back to New York first time in 2021, I think. Yeah, he hasn't ridden here.
No, you're right. I think you're right. Yeah, I mean, unless you want to take a shot with the Linda first or who I put second, I don't.
Why?
I don't know where else you're supposed to go here. I really don't.
I mean, Linda Rice's horse has a horrific pedigree on the dam side. He's a central banker. Her numbers, maiden claimers, dirt, first-time starters, she's actually not bad. He's 14 for 66, 21% $1.87, and won't take much to win this race. I'm going to pitch this horse and let it beat me. You're probably right. I'm probably remiss in not having somewhere because the talent level is so weak here. As far as up for adventure, I don't know. I just looks like the speed.
Mile first time out. They cut the horse back to the sprint last time. And this horse was never far from either pace. Especially last time this horse was on.
Well, he was also wide against a gold rail last time in his last start.
I mean, he's supposed to be on the lead from the inside, and he's running against a bunch of horses that I don't know if they want to pass anybody.
I'm a little surprised you don't have Being Me in there. Isn't Being Me getting a substantial rider change? I mean, this is a significant upgrade in the riders in this race. I almost picked it 3-1 just to go against the one who's the favorite off the claim. I don't know. I thought this was a big rider change for a horse that, frankly, has run two figures in his last 3 races of 50 that would make him tough in here.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know how far this horse wants to go, but I guess that could be the only knock. But yeah, the rider change is going to be big. I also wonder how much money the rider change is going to take. I think there's a chance.
You didn't like the 3 because you were worried about the mile, really?
The mile.
Cut it that close in a silly race like this?
I mean, I thought the race was pretty much up for adventure or the firster. To be honest with you, I really didn't like what I've seen out of the others. Italian American, we've given enough chances to, I think.
He's gotten a little tiresome. I do not agree with that.
You have Patty O'Mark third. I have him fourth.
I'm going to move on. Race number 5.
Breaking after this, right?
We are breaking after this. Race number 5, we'll take a look at Shamrock. He's back for another day. Boy, isn't he supposed to be totally loose here? And this is race 2 back, where even though he drifted in the stretch, he spent most of the race on a gold rail. Now my hands are numb, so this is getting even better. I'll just put him on the heater. Yeah, this is a horse, though, that obviously was on the rail until deep stretch when he was getting a little tired and started to drift off, and Freudian Sip almost nailed him coming up that gold rail that day. I don't know. He was a horse that I felt like was just so aided by that, then comes back last time and didn't have a gold rail. Horses.
They were
Fox
better
Red and
horses.
Storm Advisory are better horses than
they
these.
were.
He's way the horse to beat in here. We just took a small shot against him. You've done it with Morgantown. How's he going to win in this race with the 2 in there?
Well, I'm hoping he just he sits off of Shamrock
because he's
fast horses. He's fast horses.
I can't use him at all. I just think he's been awful. He's supposed to win last
time. He ran in the Boston Timberlake. He ran into Boston Timberlake twice.
He lost by 30 lengths.
Right,
last time out,
then he was dropped in where he belonged, and they got beat a length and a half on.
He was awful. He was able to control on the front end, and he absolutely stopped in mid-stretch. You and I disagree. I thought Brush Country was a perfectly logical horse in this race. We'll see how the pace develops. We'll see if the track is kind to speed or closers. But I thought his second to Justin Front last time out makes him perfectly logical in here. You don't agree?
Yeah, he can win. I thought Hooray for Harvey could win. Yeah, Brush Country gets Kendrick Carmouche right away. Junior Alvarado still off. Louis Cardenas rides the 6. Professor Snape. Those are the 2 rider changes in here. Yeah, he did nothing wrong. Justin Front's been okay at this level, as the bottom rungs of the claiming ladder. He can win.
I thought this horse was very, very logical horse in this race. Might have a chance because I don't really trust Shamrock, even though he can win. That this race could.
Well, the good thing if you like Brush Country with a horse like Shamrock is that there's going to be pace in the race.
No, I don't. It's New York. I don't ever know there's going to be pace.
Yeah, but he always puts some pace.
Well, he'll go to the front.
Yeah, 22:46, and that's enough pace for these horses.
Yeah, I believe that. You were right about the 7th race yesterday. There was no pace in there. Everybody grabbed. It was a grab fest. We're lucky that Bikinis won that race because that was not the tactical decision I would have made. What about Win with Pride? Can he run anymore?
If he can, because he's a player in here, right? Yeah, I mean, a lot of listen. This is kind of like the 5th race yesterday, where Heavy Roller got the job done. There's a lot of horses in here who've seen better days if they come with their best effort. And this sloppy seal track, I don't imagine it's going to be much better than muddy by the time they run the 5th race today.
He's fine the slop.
You don't know what I'm saying is, sometimes these horses do come back on days like this.
I'm going to bet batter swing.
Okay. Little Randy action on a sloppy Sunday.
This is a horse that was 3 wide on March 13th against a gold rail. He was 3 wide against a Gold Rail on February 14th. He was outside against a Gold Rail on February 8th, chasing a pace that ultimately fell apart. His form is actually better than it looks on paper, and it really doesn't make him out of it anyway, and he's going to be a price. I don't trust him. I have no idea how he's going to run in a wet track.
And talk about a horse who's run against much better as of late.
Yeah.
Much, much better as of late.
So I will try batter swing. We'll take a very quick break. We'll be back. The last late pick 4.
Make business meetings exquisite. Make a weekend outing exquisite. Make a late night snack exquisite. Make a night on the town exquisite. For nearly 150 years, the Saratoga Spring Water Company has been producing the finest spring water available anywhere. Saratoga Spring Water. Make every day exquisite.
Welcome back to Talking Horses. Anthony Stabile and Andy Serling. Race number 6. We are off the turf. We'll start with Spongy, and we'll show his first race on the turf, or her first race, excuse me. And she's going to take a lot of money, and she's the kind of horse that you really sort of have to play against in these races. Having said it, Bill Mott stays there on the dirt. There's no killers in this race. And this horse is a big Tomlinson for the mud.
Huge.
Anthony, huge Tomlinson
Those hard spuns usually
they're mud mowers.
Produce that big mud runner. Yeah, this was a tough beat if you had her this day. I didn't. It was a rare Mott first, or I didn't use now to go from.
What happened? You in a coma?
I bet Chad.
Where do you finish?
Joel Rosario
Where do you
rides
finish?
Spongy today, by the way. Yeah, leaving this horse in. I don't know. She was a state bred running open
No
down there.
fourth
She
pick
comes
here?
up. I just told them to make it to 3.
The 3? Sweet Franny Lou?
Make it the just
Yeah,
make
you
it
can
the
do
3.
the 4th pick to suck up a Tom Morley. Nice stake win for Tom Morley yesterday with Xanthi.
And how about the horse in the elusive
Horse ran
quality?
unbelievably well in the elusive quality. Couldn't agree
The
more.
horse in the elusive
I'll be betting
quality.
against, but I'm not going to be shocked this horse wins. We'll take a look at
me
Winds
too.
of Capri. This is the first race for Winds of Capri. Horse had a very good trip. Kind of sucked up in the rail. Pace collapsed, but also lost all chance to start last time out. Oh no. Yeah, I don't know.
That's Moonsweeper.
Forget about the next video. Don't even bother showing it. Thank you. Anyway.
Windsor Capri was actually wide that day. The winner came up the rail. Dramatic Twist snuck up the inside of Eric Cancel. And this horse was actually down the
Did
center.
this horse drift down towards the inside?
Oh, I mean, I know Dramatic Twist was up against the rail.
Anyway,
That's all I
really
can
don't
say.
care. I picked him in this race.
The horse makes a ton of sense.
You like Moonsweeper.
Yeah, well, you and I just went. We just flip-flopped them back and forth. Essentially, the two of the horses off the main track only list. Yeah, this horse ran well going the mile. I thought last time, cutting the pace. Probably won't be on the lead today. Come from all 3. Javier Castellano riding the 15. By the way, Moonsweeper. Yeah. That was it. I thought it was a main track only dominated
I won't be
affair
shocked
here.
if Spongy wins, but kind of horse you're
I won't be
supposed
surprised if Road to Remember improves as well. Caught a wet track debut, blinkers on, stretches out.
She's got a wet track today. Why would you? You said caught a wet track. She's got a wet track
Yeah, it
today.
handled the wet track. That's what I'm trying to say. Was able to. We already know the horse ran okay on the wet track. Stretches out
did.
the blinkers.
Okay. I disagree. But okay. Race number 7.
Got the horse 4th.
I know. I don't like the horse. The odds have somebody 4th. The options are slim. Race number 7. What do we got? Race number 7. I guess Banker's Daughter is probably the horse to beat in this race. Nice when the wind picks up. Gets even better up here. We'll take a look at her sloppy track race. And this was actually the last race. On the last day, it was almost as cold as it is up here that day. She ran very well in this race. The problem is she continued to run well. Then she was vanned off, and now she's coming back 3 months later. But let's be honest, she runs her better races. She's a little faster than most of these horses, isn't she?
Yeah.
And she's run well.
More
This
often
is a
than-
race collapse, by the way. She ran very well.
She ran really well this day on the wet track here at Belmont. And here's the other thing. More often than
is that the
not,
other thing or
I
the same?
stay away from these horses, but off the eased and gone for 3 months. She didn't miss a lot of time on the work tab. She only missed about 3 weeks on the work tab. She has not run, and I would imagine she missed 2 or 3 of these conditioned races already, but she's back. She has that good race here behind Miss Jimmy, who's up until then was almost always 1-2. So, yeah, I'm not going to hold it against her. She's never a horse I'm going to pick on top, but she's certainly a horse that can win this race. If her best effort will drown these.
I don't know if it'll drown these, but her best effort makes her the horse to beat. I slightly disagree with that. Frankly, the horse that you picked on top ran a comparable race to him last time, but she had trouble. We'll show the beginning of Rainbow Gal's race and the end, and since you picked her, why don't you talk about it?
Yeah, she had some trouble at the start, and after that she just ran. It was like it didn't even matter that she had the trouble at the start. Here's the start of that race back on April 11th on a wet track. You see her kind of jocks in the air and has to take a little bit of a hold of her, and after this, she works out a good trip, and she just ran. It was first time blinker. It was first time wet track, first time off the Orlando Notre Claim. She should get a nice setup in here. She's a super freakish here. She always puts a little pace on. Summer Brew, you'd imagine, is going to go, and yeah, this filly really seemed to handle a wet track last time. I'll try her again.
Yeah, no, she did run well. I don't disagree. It was obviously a much weaker spot. She ran last time. I will not argue with that. That's why I showed the replay. And I do think she's very, very dangerous in this race, as I did 10. I'm betting Karamoka in here. Karamoka is a horse that ran a figure that's competitive with the best races of anybody in here in her debut. A legit win at 100 to 1. Then she came back and badly blew the break and ended up wide against a gold rail. Then she came back in her next start and got involved trying to go 7 furlongs against an impossible field. She's laid up after that race, and they tried the turf. She's not a turf horse. Now she's back in a very reasonable spot. I'd like to see Hector Diaz, who rode her first time out, be aggressive with her in this spot. There is other pace, but, you know, make sure she's in the game. And I think this horse is completely dirtied up, and based on her debut, there is talent in there.
Yeah,
so
you might not be wrong.
I'm going to bet her.
She'll have to deal with some other speed in here, but yeah, I would not disagree with that.
No, she's not the speed. There's
Yeah.
other speeds in this race. I don't disagree with that. She's not going to be in front, but I don't know that she needs to lead to win. I mean, she has one race. She might, but I don't know that. And see, Mitch, I do occasionally pick your horses. And I like Karamoka today. I'm going to bet Karamoka today.
Okay.
Race number 8.
I would use a little 7s as well, Electric Youth.
Who's that?
The Kimmel horse. I know she has to get a lot faster,
I
but
won't.
she was against the track first time out, and then she had a
No,
little
she
trouble.
wasn't. She was against the track first time.
Laura's Bellamy wasn't on the good
That
rail.
whole race,
day?
no, that wasn't a good rail. That was a sloppy track race. It was not a good rail. She's never against the track, and she's had very good trips in both the races, but if you like her, you should use her.
Yeah.
Teetotaler in race number 8 will be a heavy favorite, I assume. We'll take a look at her last race. At the end of the day, she runs her last race. She'll win this race, and she'll win it handily. You have a horse you missed at 8 to 1 that you're going to get 4 to 5 on today. If you're lucky, it's not IRAD, so you have a chance not to get 2 to 5. She ran.
She really ran.
This filly sold the exact same day, by the way, as that West Point winner in the first race yesterday. That horse got a 93 buyer. Their other horse out west got a 105 buyer. Flight, what's the name? Flight
Plan.
No, it's not.
Flight Line.
Flight Line, sounds right. A 105 buyer.
Flight Plan was a movie with Cillian Murphy and Rachel McAdam. Yeah, I mean, I couldn't get away from Teetotaler. I tried.
I thought the point in this race was to play against the
Ice
5.
Latte?
The 5. I don't like this horse at all. Show her last race. This is a horse that was on a gold rail last time at Gulfstream Park, and I thought it was a terrible, terrible field. The second place finisher ran a 48 buyer, then ran a 67 buyer in this race, and then ran a 57 buyer. The third place finisher ran a 40, a 61, and then a 66. This horse benefited from the racetrack, and now it's Irad Ortiz. I think the advantage in this race is to completely pitch this horse.
Okay. I know that they have some high hopes for this filly.
Okay.
I know she hasn't run up to them
I hope they're not
since.
that high.
Well, I'm just saying. She was favored into a good-looking Chad Brown first-time starter in Boston Post Road first time out.
She lost by 14 lengths.
Yeah, but she took some money on the stretch out in a race where there was a hot Mott first-time starter, and Mott first didn't break. She did, and she was able to win. And listen, I know it's Todd Pletcher at Gulfstream, but
Tell me a piece of trivia about her dam.
Wow.
Her dam finished behind Rachel Alexandra in the 3-horse Mother Goose here. She went on to win a great estate, I think the Chaluki later that year against older horses at Churchill Downs. I think the 2 Dollar Mountain is very dangerous. I know it was a 4-horse field. This horse won a race last year, handled a wet track. I think that horse is dangerous. And I think the 3-horse is a horse that could a little improve, and found some good stats actually for this barn coming off of maiden wins. For what it's worth, off a maiden win in a dirt route, 14 for 50, 28%, 321 ROI. the third place finisher improved 21 buyer points, I think. The second place finisher won, but isn't a very good horse. Ran 1 buyer point worse. But I want to bet against the 5 in race number 8. Race number 9, off the turf. I was shocked to see the traffic lane scratch in this race.
That was later.
Yeah.
Later on, yeah.
I mean, I think she would have been 6-5 in here. I thought she was a better dirt horse. I actually thought, I wasn't sure I should pick against her, frankly. I was going to switch picks when I saw you pick the 8 and say, well, I'll just pick the other one. But I figured she'd be so short. It's Irad. I'm not switching to Irad. I don't love Funny Bones Flag. We'll see her win last 2 races ago, but I don't know. Where else is she supposed to go in
I
here?
have no idea. No idea. Did I stutter? Won a handful of races in a row to Swinton. She ran it to her last time out.
It's her win 2 back.
Yeah, now she's, you know,
She didn't run very well last time, I will say that.
She didn't, but you know what? With the scratches in here now, especially with that scratch of Traffic Lane, who I agree with you would have been a major player in here. Boy, unless Hebat comes off the layoff strong for Mike Stidham or Fleeting Glance, who draws in as main track onlys, unless they fire, I mean,
the speed has loved me tomorrow, and you and I are not picking her.
No shot.
And I figure the 8's gonna stalk that one.
Yeah, she's supposed to just sit right off of Love Me Tomorrow, right? I mean,
I just don't know where else to go.
I don't
here.
either. I guess
Hebat.
we both guessed with Hebat, but Hebat hasn't,
Hebat, you could use Hebat. I agree. The horse hasn't run since July. I mean, I don't like the layoffs, but horse ran figures with a little routine improvement, I suppose, could easily be there. I don't know.
5-month break between first and second start. Now we see a 9-month break. Yeah,
I don't disagree, but I don't really.
Not too many places to go in the finale either.
All right, gonna try to unfreeze. You can head over to Naira Bets and unfreeze over there. We will match up to $200 of your initial deposit, as well as giving you a free $25 Kentucky Derby bet. Use the promo code Derby25. Support racing in New York. Keep the money in the game. Play through Naira Bets. Also, America's Day at the Races 1 to 5:30, FS2. There will be some ice cubes covering those races. Human ice cubes will be sitting up here. All right, we good?
Hey, have a good trip.
Thank you.
I won't see you, but you'll be on the program Tuesday and Wednesday.
I will be
I'm
on
sure
Tuesday
we'll
and
talk.
Wednesday. All right, thanks.
Go bring the roses home.
Good luck. Anyhow, have a great day. Johnny, I'll be up in a little while with scratches and changes.
Hello, racing fans, and once again, welcome to beautiful Belmont Park. Cloudy skies on this Sunday, and we did have rain overnight and this morning. And as a result, the main track is sloppy and it is sealed, and we are off the turf today. Right now, we'll take a look at the changes for today's 9-race card. In the first race, scratch number 1, Proton Pack, scratch the 1, and there will be no show, trifecta, or superfecta wagering on the opener. No changes in the second. Third race, scratch number 3, 16 tons, scratch number 3. Race 4 will begin the pick 6. In the fourth race, number 1, Up for Adventure, runs with blinkers on. Blinkers on the 1. Number 7, Lorenzen, runs with cheek pieces again. In race 5, a couple of jockey changes. Number 5, Brush Country, make the rider Kendrick Caramouche. Caramouche on the 5. Number 6, Professor Snape, will now be ridden by Luis Cardenas. Cardenas on the 6. In race 6, which is off the turf and will be run on the main track at the same 1.16 distance. Number 2, Spongy, the jockey is Joel Rosario. Rosario rides the 2. And these scratches in race 6. Scratch 4, Master of the Tunes. 5, Just Okay is Not Okay. 6, Akushla. 7, Epona's Dream. Scratch 8, Dixie Kitten. 9, Galena. 10, Constitutional Rage. 12, Voice of Spring, and 14, Lucky Girl. Once again, the scratches in race 6. Scratch numbers 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12, and 14. Number 15, Moonsweeper, will now be ridden by Javier Castellano. Castellano on the 15. No changes in the 7th. In the 8th race, note that number 1, Suspended Campaign, will be 1 pound over. Race 9 is off the turf, goes on the main track at the same 1 mile distance. These scratches in the 9th race, scratch 1, Positive Power. 2, Tornado Crossing. 3, She's an Alpha. Also scratch 5, Traffic Lane. 9, Freddie Mo Factor. And 10, Ho 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 Ho. Scratch 1, 2, 3, 5, 9, and 10. And a jockey change on the 6, Love Me Tomorrow, to Luis Cardenas. Cardenas on the 6. Main track sloppy and sealed. We are off the turf today. The Sunday opener at Belmont Park coming up in 27 minutes at 1 p.m.
No sport in the world brings the wins home like racing. It's one-of-a-kind, high-speed, high-stakes action, and Naira Bets takes you there. Place your bets and watch the races live from anywhere. With Naira Bets, make easy, secure deposits and promotions every day to earn reward points or cash. Download the Naira Bets app or visit nairabets.com.
I think when people watch it on TV, they think that it's just a rich man's sport and there's nothing else involved. But when people actually come into this side of the sport and they see, and it puts a lot of dollars back into the industry in New York, and we need to protect that.
Working here, it's given me a life and a sense of security for not only myself financially, but also to provide for my family. Ideally, I would love to have my career here.
I'm a single mom. I was able to raise my son and put him through college, and something I'm very proud of, and I couldn't do it without New York Racing.
In the backstretch, there is a community that surrounds the racetrack. People that work day in, day out, loving what they are doing.
I mean, there's electricians, there's plumbers, there's carpenters, there's all these men and women who do jobs every day.
One horse requires a hot walker, a groomer, a person who's going to walk them to the races, the people who take care of them every day. And we need all these people to take care of the horses and to continue moving forward in New York racing.
This job has given me not only hope for tomorrow, but has made so many of my wishes come true.
We're really real people back here working our butts off to make this happen. It's a commitment. There's a lot of people back here that depend on this place.
I had the opportunity to go back to school thanks to the jobs provided for us here.
Our industry is vital within this state.
We are New York Racing.
We are New York Horse Racing.
Jobs.
Opportunity. Community.
We are New York Racing.
We are New York Horse Racing.
We are New York Racing.